Perfectly excellent.
What is up, party people? And welcome to episode number 43 of Perfectly Excellent, a very special Rewind Club episode where we will be revisiting the classic film Howard the Duck, but more about that later. How's it going, Tim? Good evening.
It's good evening.
Yeah.
Wait.
Happy
evening,
Thursday. Yes.
Can I get the door for you, sir?
Yes.
We got a little lag. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It has been a long day. Lots of meetings at work today. It is also hot now, and this room that I am in, that I work in all day long, and that I do this wonderful show in, has no air conditioning. So it is a bit balmy in here right now. I got some fans. Hopefully they're not interfering with the audio.
No, I don't hear a thing. I wish you and I can somehow trade places or meet in the middle, because I am in the basement right next to the air conditioner thing, and I'm just frozen down here all the time. So there has to be some solution. Bam? I think, is that a Bam Bam? Is that an old Bam or a new Bam?
I think it's
Bam! Bam! What's up?
So a little of that.
Going on,
anyway, looking forward to chatting a little bit about the duck named Howard. But
yes, me too. I'm very eager. I'm eager. I'll save it. We have some things to exchange before we do that.
We do have some invention exchanging to do. But the other thing is we're going to be at ToyCon NJ this weekend. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, me too. Is that like a come find us? Come find us. We'll sign your toys.
I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just saying we're going there, so we'll have something to talk about next time.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to that one. ToyCon, always a good time. I mean, always interesting. Even when it's bad, it's usually there's something interesting. So, yes, Saturday, ToyCon NJ for those not in the know.
Now you know. Shall we do the thing?
Let's do the thing.
Perfectly excellent.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Alan.
Riddle me this.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a collectible comes out? Or not even collectible. Well, there's a record, a figure, a toy. You don't buy it, and then they no longer sell it. What is your recourse for that? Like, what do you do if you want it?
I go buy it.
You go buy it, but you have to go buy it on, eBay or somewhere else. And if it's something very popular, what happens to the price of that? It tends to go up. So that said, there is a Metroid Figma that I have wanted for a long time. A Samus Aran figure from Metroid. And it was came out many moons ago when I was not buying figures, when I was sticking primarily to Lego. And, it's out of print, sold out, whatever the kids call it these days. I don't know what happens to toys. Do they go out of print?
I don't know.
Yeah. But whatever the case. OP. So it ends up on eBay and the price goes up into the hundreds of dollars, way beyond what I ever wanted to pay. So I said, you know what? Forget it. That one's just out of the question. I'm not going to get that. Well, lo and behold, a random thing happened, which is, occasional happens for records and toys, is Good Smile finally reissued the figure.
Very nice.
Very nice. So I was able to get, this is the Samus Aran Metroid Prime 3 version. I little reflective there, so I don't think you can see too well. Maybe on the back. There we go. That's better. But yeah, I have another one of this figure, very similar, but of course, when you don't have one, it makes the heart grow longer. And not only did they reissue this version, they reissued this version as well with a Zero Suit Samus, which I didn't know that I really needed. But again, the opportunity was there, right? It was reissued. You can buy it new rather than buying it from a reseller or, at an inflated price. So I figured, why not grab them both? I did. They both showed up. And funny story is they were both also, I had to pay a tariff on these. So the prices went more than the MSRP, but it still was cheaper than the resellers. For whatever reason, all of those tariffs got refunded to me. So I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, it was maybe like $10 for this one. I think this one was like $17. It's like, hey, you got mail, you got paid. Here's money back. So it's awesome. So I'm very psyched. So I now have all of the Metroid Figmas from Good Smile. I have these two. I have the Metroid Dread one and the other M version. I think that's all of them. So yay. I'm very, very excited about that. And I didn't have to pay multiples of hundreds of dollars to get them.
And you got money back. They paid you to take them.
Yes. And I got a tariff. So thank you. Whatever country paid the tariff, paid it to me. I guess it's all worth it. Yay.
Well, it's funny. It's sort of like I was telling you, I sold a poster on eBay and I shipped it out. And then a couple days later, I got a note from the post office refunding me $1.51 saying that I overpaid my postage. I would have never known that in a million years. They could have very happily and easily kept that money. And I also don't know how I overpaid because I have a scale and a tape measure. So I'm pretty confident that I was, I did that right, but I'll take that dollar.
Let me warn you though, I've been on the receiving end of that. I've gotten some refunds from the post office. I've also gotten them. They've came after me for more money. Apparently I underpaid shipping. So, so enjoy your windfall, but how quickly it comes, it quickly can be all taken away.
It's $1.51. I could go get the hot dog at Costco.
Is that with tax $1.50? I guess maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay. Maybe I can't.
You need one more refund. You need another.
I need one more.
Yes. Cool.
All right. So what I have is another going back to childhood. And while I had a lot of, your standards, Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, that kind of stuff, I had lots of one-off things here and there. Or a couple off things, we had a few Wheeled Warriors, for example, which again is to this day one of my absolute favorite toy lines. But most of the toy lines that came out in the 80s, like my brother and I usually had at least one of that thing. Okay. And I decided that there was one of those where we each just had one figure from the line and I wanted it again.
Okay.
So I went out and I got it. And I hadn't seen this in such a long time, but I got myself the Sector.
Hey, look at that.
I had when I was a kid.
And I was going to make a joke to ask if it was an original or a reissue, but some of these, they are making new ones of these, right?
They are, but I don't know if they're making this one. But this is the one I had when I was a kid. This is Pinsor and the Battle Beetle. Mm-hmm. And what I find super fascinating about it, although I just made him drop his sword.
Oh.
My hand fits in the glove. Like it's like a grown-up sized glove.
Oh, that's fascinating. I would not think that would still be the case. What a great idea. That's so cool. Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on. I didn't. And then you got the little thing here.
I would not want to be caught in the business end of that. That looks
so, yeah. So this is the one and only Sector I had as a kid. My brother had one as well. He didn't have one with a mount. He had the main character with like the little mini bug that came with it. Not going to get that
brother
one.
With the mini bug.
Not going to get any more of them. Just very happy to once again have the one that I had when I was a kid.
Cool. Now, help me understand. The guy on top, is he an insect as well? Because he does have antenna, does he not?
And he's got claw things. Oh. I don't know a ton about the lore. The only thing that I really remember vividly is the commercials for the toys when I was a kid, because the commercials were a 13-part like story. Mm-hmm. And so they would just randomly show like, tune in next time for this, that, and the other thing. And
how do you even catch that then if it's just a random commercial, right? You just have to get lucky.
Yeah, but the thing that I remember more than anything about that is one time when I was a kid, and I remember it was back when we were living in West Milford still, so it was sometime between first and third grade. So it was in that window. The Muppet Babies did a Star Wars themed episode, and they played it in prime time instead of at like Saturday morning like they normally.
It was an event, sure. Yeah,
it was an event. During that airing of the Muppet Show, they showed all 13 Sectors commercials, like chronologically over the course of that episode. And for whatever reason, again, between first and third grade, I remember that so vividly about how awesome I thought it was that I got to see all the Sectors commercials.
Cool. Well, very cool. Good pickup. This is not the first like kind of one-off thing that you've picked up now. So are you going to dedicate a cabinet to like the what-offs, a display to all
I have 2 cabinets over there that I'm sort of dedicated to vintage stuff.
Okay.
And that's where I can put one-offs. That's where I can put a couple of, like, I showed those 3 Dino Riders a couple weeks ago. They're in there. He'll be in there. The 2 mask things I have are in there. That's going to just sort of be where all the old important stuff lives.
The old you or the young you. You're the old you.
I am absolutely the old me.
Yes. That will be the young you. Cool.
Yes. Traveling to Texas and sitting in a very, 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 very tiny airplane seat reminded me that I am absolutely the old me.
Sorry. Reality is harsh.
It is.
Speaking of harsh, shall we get into our main event?
Oh, you want to do that? All right. We can start. But let me, I got a little button to push first. Hold, please.
Perfectly excellent.
Yes, the Rewind Club, where we revisit movies, music, and other media of the past.
We're trying very hard to have it be a thing where one of us is quite familiar with it and the other hasn't ever seen it before. And in this instance, I have never seen Howard the Duck until Tuesday.
Okay. And I have. This is another one that I grew up with, one that I have very fond memories of, and I'm very, very eager to discuss, because I have not seen it in forever, but I apparently owned this. You had to obtain it for this viewing, but this was in my library.
I did obtain it. Before we get into it, let's start with a little bit of what Howard the Duck is. So it was released on August 1st of 1986. In its opening weekend, it was the number 3 movie of the week. Now, let's put a little bit of context here. Aliens made $11 million this week, and it was in its 3rd week out.
Okay.
Friday the 13th, Part 6, which I didn't even know there were 6 of those movies, at least not in 1986. That was also in its debut. It made $9 million. Howard the Duck made $8 million. Karate Kid Part 2 made $7 million. That was in its 7th week out. And Top Gun cruising in at the top 5. That was in its 12th week out. I didn't write down the dollar amount, but it was less than $7 million. But again, 12 weeks out, Top Gun is still hanging out at number 5.
I mean, it's the highway to the danger zone, right? That is Top Gun, I believe.
That is, maybe. The second weekend Howard the Duck was out.
I was going to ask.
It was number 7, and it made $4 million. The 3rd week out, it was number 16, and it made $1.6 million, and then it vanishes from the charts. Then I could not find any other information about how much it was doing.
Yeah. Well,
so,
are you aware of that is great research. I was curious about this, so I'm glad you pulled this together. But are you aware of the sordid story of Howard the Duck and this movie and how it has George Lucas's name on it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just look at this and I'm like, all right, so they made no money on this at all.
I bet it's probably even worse than we know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the whole thing, but this was George Lucas was riding high, at this time.
1986, that's 3 years after Return of the Jedi. Although wait, when did Willow come out? Was Willow after this?
I don't know. That's another one that I would like to rewatch too. So make a note of that. But this was expected to be a massive summer blockbuster. And I think
Willow was 1988, so Willow was after this.
Okay, so he recovered. I back when I saw this as a kid, I didn't know anything about Marvel. I didn't know Howard the Duck was a Marvel character. But I believe this film basically destroyed the careers of the director and the screenwriter duo who had worked with Lucas previously on American Graffiti and Indiana Jones. I think that they took a big hit after this one. And there was a lot of turmoil too with the character of Howard. And we can get into like the look and feel of him, like how they were going to portray him. They wanted to use a puppet. That wasn't working. It's a really interesting, if you dig too deeper behind the scenes of, I think towards the release, George Lucas just wanted to get his name off of this. Like he wanted nothing to do. So it's up there with the holiday special as far as things that he would like to take a hammer to and smash.
Well, I don't know though, because Howard the Duck has had VHS releases, DVD releases, Blu-ray releases. Like it's
a lot of hammers. Yeah. How much going into this? How much did you know about this movie? Did you have any idea like what it was about or who it was for?
So the one thing that I realized, you know how there's like a lot of old movies like this that you've seen bits and pieces of. You never sat down and watched the whole thing, but you're aware of it. You know the general beats of what's going on. As I was watching this movie, I realized that I have never seen a single solitary second of this movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like I knew nothing. The only thing that I know is I know the song at the end. I assume there must have been like a video for it or something when I was a kid. But I have not seen a second of this movie prior to Tuesday.
Oh, awesome. So cool. Like we should dive in because I don't know where it lands right now. I think it's Howard the Duck is still widely considered like a failure and a terrible movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, I guess. So I don't really know what to say about this. Let's just dive in and talk through it.
All right. So again, just so people who might be watching that haven't seen us do a rewind club before, the person who has not seen the thing prior, they're the one responsible for walking us through the story. So that is going to fall on me because I'd never seen Howard the Duck. So as I sat there and watched it, I took copious amounts of notes as to what is going on.
Yes, and so you have the dubious task to recount this plot.
Yeah. So I assume we start off in Duckburg. Duckland. So basically...
Oh, wait, maybe it was Duckburg. I take it back. I'm sorry. I wrote down Duckland.
I'm sure that's probably what it's really called. Duckburg is the DuckTales. But essentially, we're in like a planet of the ducks where...
But you don't know that from the start, do you? It's only hinted for a few minutes.
I guess it's pretty clear that you're on a duck.
It seems like you're in a normal city. You're in it was Washington D.C. If you saw his address. So, but please continue.
Yeah, so we're in Duck World. So we are in Howard's apartment where he is drinking beer, watching TV, which shows a Jock Itch commercial. And the one that I thought was really fascinating is there was like a Crazy Eddie takeoff.
Yes, right.
But Crazy Eddie was only a New York, New Jersey based store for the most part. So I don't understand who else is going to get that reference other than people on the East Coast. Like they spread out a little bit in the 80s, but it's not like people in California or Kansas had Crazy Eddie stores. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Crazy Webby was their take on it. There's lots of like little puns. Like there's an Indiana Jones poster that says like Breeders or something of the Lost Ark. But yeah, the Crazy Webby, that was a deep cut. I agree.
I was surprised about that. So then the movie immediately starts going into, he's looking at like the duck version of Playboy that has naked duck ladies in it. And then
we're going to come back to that later too. So keep that in mind.
And then like, basically, I made notes, but my goal is not to talk about every single second of this movie because then this will just go on forever. So we're gonna kind of skim
Yep.
through some of the stuff. But essentially, Howard's sitting in his chair, and his chair gets engulfed by like red light, and it just goes flying out of the back of his apartment, goes flying up into the sky into a red cloud, and he gets beamed across the galaxy and ends up on Earth in an alley with a bunch of 80s punk rockers.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And he in Cleveland of all places, I thought it was funny. He lived in Duckburg, which was just a Duck universe in Washington D.C. But then Cleveland was like totally foreign to him when he finds out he's in Cleveland. He's like keeps saying like Cleveland. But yeah, he's not on Earth for 2 minutes before he encounters some ruffians,
some punks.
Some punks.
He basically, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but basically he gets taken into a punk club and a band is playing. Although I did make a note right here that the best part of what I was seeing right now is in the alley, there was a Gremlins thermos on the ground. And I was like, oh, like a Gremlins
good catch.
thermos.
That was a really good catch in the trash. Yep.
Yeah. So I was psyched about that.
Yep.
I don't really know what's going on, and I don't really know exactly how you start a movie like this with essentially zero exposition whatsoever. Now they do explain some of this later on, but for the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie, like I don't really know what's going on. So,
but I think that's the whole plot of the first like half of the movie is the, what is happening here? How did I get here? That's the mystery.
Yeah, so he's taken into a club, a band is playing. He ends up back outside. He's hiding in a barrel because he got thrown out by some ruffians, some punks and whatnot. And then the guitar player, singer of the band starts walking down the alley, and she gets hassled by punks because that's what punks do. They hassle band people in dark alleys. Mm-hmm. And they are gonna basically like beat her up or rob her or worse. And Howard jumps out of the barrel and he saves this woman with quack fu. Because that is the fighting style that he knows. He knows quack fu.
He does know quack fu.
He dispatches the ruffians, and then there's a little bit of exposition. It's explained that they're in Cleveland. It's explained that the lady's name is Beverly. Her band is called Cherry Bomb, and Howard doesn't have anywhere to go because he was just armchair launched into a different universe, and you don't often get apartments when that happens. So she takes him back to her place with him.
Yep. What are you thinking at this point? Like, are you intrigued by what's happening at all, or annoyed?
I'm very much wondering, like, how does one start a movie like this? Like, why would you put so little? Like, I understand you want reveals and you want to kind of tell the story, but they didn't like build up into anything. It just sort of all happened, which is fine. But then they just don't really explain what's going on. Again, for like 15, 20 minutes, like you really have no clue what happened, why it's going on.
Yeah, it's like starting on a roller coaster that just drops you. Like there's no anticipation, like you just don't even know what's going on.
And the other thing that struck me is that Howard doesn't seem to be super curious as to how this happened. He's just kind of annoyed that it happened.
Totally irritated. You nailed it. Like he's like, I gotta get home. It's basically like worst night ever for him, but not like I'm in another universe. There's all these creatures that I've never seen, like humans.
He just seems hassled. He seems put out by it all.
He does. He's irritated. He's definitely irritated. Did you catch the stickers on Beverly's guitar case?
I saw a Circle Jerk sticker and WMMS, which is a Cleveland like alternative radio station.
Yeah. And of course a Misfit sticker, just so you didn't have any questions if she was a punk or not. Like there you go.
Well, I would have some questions considering the music they were playing.
It's the 80s though. That was punk in the 80s.
It was not super punk.
No.
So So they go back to Beverly's apartment, which Howard says, "Oh, this place is a dump," and she's like, "Well, our manager helped me get it." And then she opens the apartment door, and while a bit run down, it's just like this palatial apartment that's so gigantically big.
Always the case,
it's
right?
It's not palatial in that it's fancy, but it's enormous. It's like a giant loft thing. It's kind of like when Tom Hanks gets the apartment in Big.
Yeah.
And you're like, how does a human being afford something like this in a city?
It is amazing, right? I wanted to one more note about her punkness, though. You called out the punk music she was playing. I want to call out that I was all in for Beverly being in this punk band until she complained about playing grungy mungholes waiting for their big break. And I'm like, that's not punk. Like, you're not punk. And I'm telling everyone, get out of here. But yeah, amazing. Like, they try to play it off like, oh, it's like this dirty place. But yeah, it was huge. It was just like a giant. She had, like, I think, a rehearsal space in there and everything.
It was weird. It was weird. So a couple of things happen. First of all, Howard sits down in a chair and like a truck goes by and the chair shakes and he like has a nervous breakdown about, I'm scared of the shaky chair because I just got launched into the universe in a chair, which happens and then is never mentioned ever again.
That was the one freak out that he had, and then he was over it. He was good.
So that was weird. So then she tells the story about being in he tells a story that he also was in a failed band. He currently works in advertising. A couple like little innocuous conversations happen that don't really mean a whole lot of anything. And then Howard falls asleep and Beverly starts looking through his wallet for a bunch of stupid puns, like their credit cards. There's like Mallard card and stuff like that. The money has George Washington with a bill on his face. And then there's just some grossness going on. They're just being kind of creepy and perverted and awful.
Yep.
And I don't want to talk about that too much.
Well, wait, but the worst of it comes later too. We haven't even gotten to that. But I think what makes it even more creepy is, can we take a moment to talk about Howard himself? He does not look like a creature. Like, I don't know what he looks like. He just looks uncanny and awful, I think, throughout all of this.
He's on the left on this picture here. That's
in case you didn't know, it's the one.
He's like, the duck.
Yeah, the costume they got, the way he walks, the way he moves, the way his dead eyes like open really wide, and his build, like, none of it looks good. I would say it's uncomfortable to watch.
So, the funny thing is, I think the thing that you want to talk about the most that's a little awkward.
We don't talk about this.
I'm not even sure I took notes about it, so I'm not even positive exactly where that happens anymore.
It happens
later, but
yeah. I wrote a note about, like, I don't think we want to talk about this, so let's move on.
So then she's like, okay, I'm going to help you, Howard. So as one does, she puts him in a trash bag and drags him to her friend Phil, who's a scientist and is also a complete freak.
Yes.
Just like a complete maniac weirdo guy. Where they do this long soliloquy where they're in a museum talking about the evolution of man and the evolution of duck and how the parallels of those things exist between Earth and Howard's Duckland.
And he nailed that, like, right away. He was just like, he put all that together.
So I don't really know what I'm even supposed to say about all of this, because Phil is just acting like a complete mutant. Howard's getting annoyed. Beverly is pretty inconsequential during this part of the movie. So Howard essentially just gets annoyed and wants to leave. And then she gets mad at him for being annoyed and she storms off.
Yeah.
So as one does, he decides, well, I need a job, so I'm going to go to the unemployment office. Where some woman who works there thinks he's trying to not get a job by dressing like a duck. So she's going to show him, and she gets him a job I have no idea where she gets him a job.
At Hot Tub Fever.
Essentially he's just delivering towels in a aquatic brothel.
Yes.
Is about all I can put it together.
Can we pause? Can we go back to the museum for one sec? Because the one line from this movie that I remembered all these years was when they go through the evolution of man, evolution of duck, and Howard says, "You're all just hairless apes? That's really disgusting." Like, I've never forgotten that one line. Like, oh, you're all just hairless apes. It's disgusting. But yes, so Hot Tub Fever. I didn't realize places like Hot Tub Fever used employment agencies to find people to work there.
And again, Howard is just walking around bringing towels to hot tubs that have people making out in them, essentially. Yes. So he gets annoyed and he quits. And at this point, I did a time check here. So look, we're a half hour in. And I really have no idea what the story of this movie is, other than Howard is just agitated and on the wrong planet.
Well, it's a good thing there is an hour and 20 minutes left at this point.
So Howard wanders around. He gets freaked out by duck stuff on TV, duck hunting and Daffy Duck and stuff like that. He ends up at the punk bar again where Beverly is playing. And I did make a note that what she was playing here was decidedly unpunk. Though even she realizes that and stops the song.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I did not remember that. They're playing like this, like very, very melancholy kind of ballad, and it was positively bringing everyone down there. So she stopped.
Yeah. So even she gets bored with the song and decides to play something faster. So at this point, Howard's walking around and he finds the band's manager, which I did not mention earlier. The band was complaining that the manager is ripping them off, has them trapped in a contract that they can't get out of.
Very punk rock. You know?
Yeah. So Howard goes to the manager and it's like, you're going to give the girls money to me because someone just gave the manager a whole bunch of money and he's obviously not going to give it to the band. So then Howard gets thrown down the bar like in an old Western, like stomach first with like the bottles falling down and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then he gets annoyed and he fights back, I assume using quack fu again, though that was not specified this time.
Yeah, I think it was just street fighting that he used.
So then, as one does, he pins the manager down on the bar and threatens to give everyone space rabies if they don't let the girls out of the contract. To which, of course, I mean, what choice do you have when that happens?
When you're threatened with space rabies, you have no choice but to relent.
So the girls have been let out of their contract.
And he gets their money.
Yeah. So he goes back to their dressing room, tells them what's up, gives them their money. They're like, oh, yay, Ducky, thank you so much for all of the help. Phil shows up to hang out. He steals
He's dating one of the people in the band.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's subtle.
He steals a feather and says something about, oh, I'm going to compare this to a thing at the thing, and then we're going to know a little bit more about the thing when we compare the feathers. And Howard just basically is like, fine. Which is kind of my reaction at that point. Like, okay, take his feather.
Yeah,
that's fine. I made a note that lots of inconsequential hijinks are going on, but essentially
there are hijinks. Yeah.
Essentially, then Howard goes back to Beverly's apartment again, where I did make a note. Okay. So he plays the Casio for a moment, which basically was perhaps the worst keyboarding I've ever heard in like a quote unquote professional environment. Like if that was supposed to show, oh, well, Howard's a musician at heart. I don't know what him playing that specific melody was supposed to accomplish, but it did impress Beverly.
Yeah. He basically just played like autoplay, right? He didn't really it was weird.
The only thing missing was this band played at the Metro. About 25 people were at the show.
Exactly. I did make a note here that amazingly Howard keeps finding clothes to wear, like whether it's a robe when he's back at Beverly's, or he had stolen clothes at one point, he says, from like the child's department. But most everything he has a hole for his tail to stick out of, which I was highly amused. Very convenient.
You need that.
Yep.
So at this point, Howard is making a bunch of jokes to Beverly about how he's like, hey, I'm a duck and you're a lady. And and then she sort of takes the bait and goes, okay, let's do things, and starts coming on to him. And it is appalling. Like, just appalling.
It is difficult to watch. It is super uncomfortable.
It's really awful.
Hats off to Leah Thompson, who had to act in that as Beverly, and like, but it is my notes are, do we want to talk about this scene? Oh man, this is uncomfortable.
Yes, I just wrote, then a very creepy bad scene happens.
Yes.
So nothing happens. She basically goes, ah ha ha ha, I was just kidding.
But the damage is done to anyone who's seen it.
Because one, I have had to witness this.
Yes.
And two, Ed from Ferris Bueller shows up with Phil.
And they had to see it as well.
They also had to see it, and they also are appropriately creeped out.
Yep.
And so Ed's here now. So Ed and Phil, and his name is Walter Jennings, but all of my notes I just called him Ed because that's who he is to me.
It's Ed, Phil, and random guy, right? There was 3 of them.
These are the only 4 people that had any consequence in this movie whatsoever, the 4 up on the screen. There are a couple of other folks that show up for maybe a scene, but these are the main people driving this entire movie. So Leah and I don't even know what Ed's name is. They did a lot of heavy lifting in this movie as far as having to sort of just be in every single scene, essentially.
Yes.
So Ed, he explains that they did some sort of space laser test that inadvertently shot Howard's planet and brought them to Earth. Now, we are told this 46 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
Some sort of explanation as to what happened the previous 45 minutes was given. And it wasn't even a really good explanation.
No. Now, at this point, do you remember Alien Encounter at Walt Disney World?
Yes.
Because that's basically the plot of this movie, where they shot a laser, brought something to the planet, and I just kept laughing from here on out at the parallels between that attraction and everything, the rest of this plot. But I feel like it becomes a whole different movie at this point.
Yeah. So Dr. Ed thinks they can reverse the laser and send Howard home. So they take him back to the lab in a van, and Howard starts getting a little sad that he's leaving Beverly. The Phil guy doesn't want Howard to leave because he doesn't want to experiment on him necessarily, but he wants to achieve some sort of scientific notoriety on the back of Howard that is never really explained how he intends to do that. Likely because they don't have a reason for it.
Yeah.
So they go to the lab. Phil doesn't want Howard to leave. They get there, and again, for reasons I don't completely understand, the laser's blowing up, and everybody is running away. And then Ed disappears, and they hypothesize that they may have brought something else to Earth.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Again, same notes. I have they get to the lab, alarms are going off, something is going real wrong, the thing is blowing up. The cops show up and take Howard into custody.
So the cops show up, and they think it's a fellow in a duck costume. So standard police protocol when encountering someone in a duck costume is to try to forcefully remove all of their clothing in a strip search scenario.
Yes, I believe that is the standard protocol there.
So again, this is another instance where the movie kind of gets a little creepy and perverted in a way that is kind of uncomfortable to watch. They leave Howard there in boxer shorts, and they're like, "There's no zipper. Whoa, there's no zipper.
No Velcro. No Velcro." You know,
where's he gonna sit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. Anyway, Howard and Beverly manage to overtake the cops, and they run away. The cops are trying to find him. They have an order to shoot to kill, and then Ed comes back with a really bad sunburn. Like he's very red,
he is
very
not
very
feeling
burnt.
well at all. Something has gone wrong with Ed.
So the three of them drive away in Ed's car, and Dr. Ed starts freaking out like he's getting possessed, and he's driving all over the place, and they sort of crash. They're out of control, and like here's the wall, and it's like boop.
Boing.
Yeah. So
they end up at Joe Roma's Cajun Sushi.
So I assume that was supposed to be comedic, the whole boop part, but it was.
I think the whole movie up to this point is meant to be comedic.
Yeah. So they go into a sushi diner, where we find out that Ed is possessed by a demon overlord who is going to bring other demons to Earth.
Yes.
And to demonstrate this, Ed gets laser eyes and blows up ketchup and mustard.
Yes. Yep. I mean, I was convinced at that point. Like, I didn't need to see any more.
So, and again, I don't know who had this. I assume that Dr. Walter Jennings had this. But essentially, someone pulls out a garage door opener. And that's what they're going to use in conjunction with the laser to bring the other dark overlords to Earth.
Yeah, and dark overlords are bad. They are these beings that were banished to a dimension in space, and they want to come down to Earth and do nefarious things. So, no, we don't want them.
Then, as typically happens in a sushi diner, they get into a fight with some hillbillies, one of whom takes the garage door opener, and then there's a fight.
Yeah.
Scene, where there's lots of pies and faces and that sort of thing. It's interesting. But
you're skipping the best part. They're at the Cajun Sushi diner. They order the special, and it's chicken and eggs.
Oh yeah, it's eggs because
nothing makes. I think they stopped worrying about trying to make sense with anything at this point in the movie.
Yeah, so they give Howard eggs and he freaks out. He's like, "What do you think I am, a cannibal?" And it's like, "I thought you were a duck, not a chicken." Yes. So I do not know exactly what's going on here. As the fight is happening, the hillbillies and the restaurant staff tie Howard to a table and they want to cook him.
Yes.
Because he's a large duck.
Yeah, I mean, did you not notice the chef was wearing a Temple of Doom shirt? So it makes perfect sense that they would cook him.
I guess so. So then Ed gets up and he starts to glow, and I guess he saves Howard by blowing up the restaurant and taking back the garage door opener.
Mm-hmm. With a flying meat cleaver.
Yeah, just kind of like spinning like a helicopter flying around, like cutting lights and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then after saving Howard, Ed sort of inexplicably just turns on him again and then beats him up and takes the garage door opener and Beverly and steals a Mack truck.
Yes, because dark overlords know how to drive Mack trucks. Like that's part of their repertoire there.
Okay, so
my notes, I just got to say, at this point, my notes are utter gibberish because there's no way to follow any of this at this point.
So Ed explains that he wants Beverly to be a host for another dark overlord because dark overlords can't exist on Earth without being in a human host, which is contradicted later in the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be true. It doesn't seem to be true.
That is said for right now. Then he grows a giant tentacle out of his mouth that he puts in a cigarette lighter for power.
He needs power. He needs power. Dark overlords need power.
So back at the diner, Phil's arrested. And I guess they arrested him at the lab and then brought him to the diner. Not totally explained, but he was in the back of a police car.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Howard gets Phil out of the cop car, and then luckily they find a small airplane.
Yeah, it's called an ultralight glider, and it's frequent that people have these outside of Cajun sushi diners. So that's not,
so that's good.
not weird at all.
Equally convenient, on his way to the lab, Ed finds a nuclear power plant, so he can get some more power.
Yes.
So while he's working his way in there through like a tour of some sort,
yes. Yeah, because he doesn't just bust in and steal the power. He infiltrates as part of a visiting tour group.
Yeah. So Howard and Phil fly away in another scene. The cops chase them in their cars. Ed sneaks into the plant in the tour group. He goes into the reactor to get some more power. He is now supercharged.
Yes.
And, you know, it is insinuated that he has consumed all of the power of this nuclear reactor, because there are a bunch of people, the alarms go off, and a bunch of people in hazmat suits go rushing to the reactor, and they get there, and it's like, well, there's nothing here.
Well, which is hilarious, because there's a cop there, no hazmat suit at all, directing the people like 5 feet away from where like that nuclear material would have been. So anyway, so Phil, I'm sorry, not Phil. So Dr. Jennings?
Walter Jennings,
yes,
has consumed an entire nuclear reactor.
Yes.
And then he sits next to Beverly in a truck, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we don't know what happened after this movie. Her teeth might have fallen out, and she, might have had some health issues.
So
this is all happening in one day, right? Like, this entire movie happens in like a day and a half,
something like that. So the airplane chase scene just goes on forever, and I can't say anything about it that, like, there's nothing that happened that we need to discuss.
No, I think you said it perfectly. Howard takes to the sky to run away, and the cops run away from the cops, and it just goes on and on and on.
I missed this comment before. I don't know what we were talking about when
that's good, because you don't want to know what he's talking about.
Okay, so sorry, Manny. I don't remember what happened there.
Yeah, that's for everyone's benefit.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ed ends up stuck in an emission inspection line in his Mack truck.
Can we talk about how, like, he's the Dark Overlord, but he's so bizarre? Like, he's doing.
He sounds like this.
Yeah,
like
so he's making like little wisecracks. He's being like annoyed about little things while he's talking about being the Dark Overlord. I don't know. I'm highly amused at all of this.
Yeah. So Ed gets into a fight with some cops at an emission inspection line, where I then wrote, "Why am I writing that sentence?" There continues to be more airplane stuff that just happens. They crash into some water at the lab, and then they get in there, and Dr. Ed has Beverly underneath the laser. So Phil and Howard, they go looking for a weapon that Phil says they conveniently have hanging out.
They just so happen in this lab next to the giant space laser is like a Department of Defense experimentation room. So very handy.
Very handy. So they get to the weapon, and the weapon's locked, and it's like, oh no, the weapon's locked. And then they break the lock, and it's like, all right, the weapon's not locked. So that's good.
Yeah.
Ed is starting up the laser now, because remember, he has the garage door opener, so he is able to start the laser and summon the other Dark Overlords. And then the other laser that Phil and Howard find is mounted onto a golf cart that Howard kind of starts up by mistake and immediately crashes into something.
Yes. Hijinks.
Yeah. So then Ed sees them, and he's like, I'm going to get you. And he starts shooting lightning, and Phil blocks it with a satellite dish.
You seem to be struggling with this. Is it just you're not able, it's too much to process, too much to accept, or suspend disbelief?
Yeah, so then Dr. Ed goes like full Lopan with light coming out of his mouth.
Yep.
And then Howard starts driving the go-kart directly at Ed. And Howard shoots lasers like at Howard. Howard shoots lasers at Dr. Ed. Dr. Ed shoots lightning at Howard. It's that 80s thing that happens all the time where the two beams like meet in the middle, and it goes, and it blows up all over the place.
Yes.
Hurrah. Howard's okay, luckily.
Yes.
Ed, not around for a minute, but comes back pretty quickly. he's back to normal.
He's
Good
back
old
to
Dr. Ed is
Jennings.
back.
Yep.
So
And he looks fine considering that all his hair had previously just fallen out. And like his teeth rotted out of his mouth. But now
the
he's
sunburn went away.
Sunburn, everything. Yeah, like he had like spikes coming out of his lab coat. Everything was awful. But now, I mean, it just kind of, his fever broke and he's fine.
So, but now the Dark Overlord, they just sort of know that the Dark Overlord has not been defeated. He's around and he's no longer attached to Ed.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, you got a picture of him. He's awesome. It's like this like scorpion crab thing.
I wrote in my notes that he's like a bug scorpion rancor.
Yes, that's very good. I think that's a perfect description of him.
I am all in favor of practical effects. And it boggles my mind that Industrial Light and Magic did these effects, because it looks worse than the stop motion stuff they were doing in the 1930s. Like the 1930s King Kong looks more realistic than this Dark Overlord running around this lab.
Yeah, he's always like shot like he's in the foreground and they're just like, ooh, or he's like, you know, they never feel like they're on the same plane of existence throughout this.
But
scene.
It's like, you know how in Return of the Jedi, the worst part of the Rancor is when the hand is coming for Luke and it just looks, it looks really bad. Like it just, it's not composited great. That looks 10 times better than any scene with this thing in it.
But it's menacing. You got to give it that, despite its shortcomings. It was.
I suppose. Well, this monster tentacles Howard. It just like goes, bleh, and a tentacle comes out and gets Howard. Howard has a saw. I don't know how he has a circular saw, but he has a circular saw.
Dr. Jennings throws him the saw.
Oh, that's where that came from. All right, I must have blacked out. At that
Dr. Jennings, too frightened, overcome by fear to actually fight, just throws him the circular saw.
So Howard then cuts off the tentacle and he escapes. He gets back in the go-kart. He shoots the laser at the Overlord again, and the Overlord blows up. But more Overlords are coming.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming.
Yes. Whoa.
Whoa.
But hey, let's challenge the logic here, because they got Beverly off the table. So what would have happened to those Overlords when they arrived?
More Rancors, I guess.
They would they just have splatted on the seat, or they would have just come out like, oh, I guess we were wrong about that whole vessel thing. We're totally cool.
So in the ultimate self-sacrifice, Howard decides that he's gonna just have to destroy that space laser and his only way home, because you can't have these Overlords coming down. So he shoots his laser at the space laser, which explodes in just like this gigantic explotion, which very conveniently doesn't hurt anyone standing.
Oh, I was gonna say no, kills everyone. Kills end of movie. Yeah. I got to give Beverly credit though. She, I guess she was debating, or she's like, Howard, no, if you blow this up, you can't go home. Like she was really weighing the pros and the cons there. Like, let the Dark Overlords come destroy Earth, but then you could still go home. But Howard, the righteous duck that he is, blew it up.
He saves everyone. And then essentially, the movie kind of ends here. There's a concert that's going on that Howard's hanging out with.
Well, the Dark Overlord blow up in transit. They're lost into the ether of the movie.
Well, he blew up the laser. Obviously, they didn't come in. Come on.
Yeah.
I thought that was self-explanatory. Why would we have to explain such a thing?
He has saved the day.
Yeah, so they're at a concert. Beverly's band sings the Howard the Duck song, which again, I know somehow. I know that song. I don't know why I know that song, but I know
Must
that
have been
song.
on the radio around that time or something.
Yeah. Howard plays a guitar solo and the credits roll. And Alan, I have a message for you.
Oh, please.
The producers of this motion picture have asked me to take this opportunity to say, fuck you.
That was great. So wait, so you didn't like it? Is that I'm
what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Every movie that I have picked thus far, and every movie in my head that I'm planning to pick to show you, I want you to see a movie that you haven't seen before that you might love and will go, oh man, I can't believe I've never seen this. This is great. You seem to be on a mission to make me want to murder people. What are you doing to me?
Where does this fall on the Krull? Is this better or worse than Krull? Because I thought this was
The
much better
producers
than...
of this motion picture have asked me to take this opportunity to say, fuck you.
This one, I think, Krull was difficult to watch. This one, I think, was just kind of like boring and like you never felt for anything that was going on. Like you said, the best part was really Beverly and the Ed Jennings as a Dark Overlord. Like that was amusing, but everything else was just like there was no interest at all. Yeah,
I never said that was the best part.
Oh no, okay, but
there is no best.
All.
There is no best part of this movie.
Mm. The real confusing. Oh, go ahead.
Is this better or worse than Krull?
Yes.
I have the opposite take of you. I actually thought Krull was more boring.
Okay.
A Krull felt longer. But this was... I can't even calculate how much more stupid this movie was.
Yeah.
And not in like a fun, charming sort of like, oh, you know, it's the 80s, it's silly. It's just like everything about this movie is so bad. I cannot fathom how it got made. Like I cannot wrap my head around how it would have gotten past the script.
Yeah.
That they would have filmed 10 minutes of this and went, ooh, this isn't working. This is not working. We need to figure something out about this. This is not working. And then they release it thinking it's going to be a smash hit.
I don't know. I don't know at the point when it was released if they thought it was going to be a smash hit. It went through a lot of trouble in development and getting it together, if I recall correctly. And I think they just ended up with what we got, like a very unlikable Howard the Duck. Like I never felt for him. Like again, as a kid, I thought it was great. I love this movie. As an adult, yeah, this was like I never felt engaged in this at all. I think Leah Thompson was great only because I had a huge crush on her. Like when this movie came out, and I think she gave it her all. And I think Jennings did. Even Phil, I think they were giving their performances of a lifetime. But Howard was awful.
They're all awful. And it's not because they're bad actors. It's because the material they were given was ludicrous. And not fun ludicrous. But just, like, again, I watched this movie and all I could think of, well, Alan's not my friend.
Well, I haven't seen this movie in decades, so in my defense, like I remembered liking it. It was a fun sci-fi movie with monsters and a duck and some very uncomfortable.
Say that sentence again, please.
Monsters and a duck.
Yeah,
a duck person. What I wondered about though watching this now is who is this movie for? Because this is not for kids. And it's not for adults. Like, who is this movie for? It's not for anyone. For ducks?
This movie is indescribably terrible.
I think you've been describing it pretty well.
I'm just convinced you don't like me, and you're trying to make me upset, as if there's not enough atrocities that we have to see every day of our lives.
All right. I apologize. Again, we're going into these unscreened. I have fond memories, and yeah, my childhood is unraveling before the seams as we watch them again.
You got to pick something that's great that I haven't seen.
All right. What is great? All right. Next, well, it's your turn to pick one. I will do some soul searching, and I will find something that I am fully invested in that is great to this day.
I was going to for me picking next month's, I was actually going to pick a record, I wanted you to really listen to a record, but because this was so bad, I need a movie palate cleanser.
Okay.
So next month, we're going to do UHF, because UHF is awesome. Like, that movie is incredible. I've watched it a billion times. The fact that you've maybe seen it once and you're not even...
I've seen it one time in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to do that, because that movie rules, and we need a palate cleanser after this.
All right. And I will really think about something. I will go through the list of movies I've been jotting down and hopefully redeem myself. Or I could keep digging a hole.
Yeah. But I do have this idea of doing a record and like having you listen to the record and then having you report back on each individual track.
I would be delighted.
You know, so I think we're going to get to that at some point. I don't only want to do movies, but I got to do another movie, because this is maddening. This thing just maddening.
All right. UHF for what are we in April? For May.
For May.
Awesome.
And that's a good movie. Like, that is a good movie. Now,
I
that's
will be
a
the
flop
judge of that. We will
shouldn't
see.
have been a flop.
Sorry, Howard the Duck wasn't worth it. Krull was not worth it. I'm 0 for 2. So I'll see what I can do next time.
Like, in all seriousness, I'm legitimately not just like starting a fight for, you know, funness, but like, as you're picking these, like, are you picking them thinking like, I bet Tim's gonna like this, or is this just like, I haven't seen this in so long I don't even remember it?
Yeah, it's basically like, hey, I love this movie. This is great. I can't believe you haven't seen this. Let's watch it. And then yeah, and this is the result. So I will be more thoughtful for the next selection.
I think you need to pick something you've seen more recently than childhood.
Okay. Well, let's go for some fun space sci-fi stuff. I'll see what I can dig around there that you maybe haven't seen.
I wish I hadn't only recently seen The Last Starfighter, because that would have been a pretty good one. Because that was that wasn't great, but it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it for what it was, even though, you know, it's kind of silly. But
okay, cool. Oh well, sorry, Howard, you suck. Howard the Duck sucks. We need a rating here, like some way to.
The producers of this motion picture have asked me to take this opportunity to say, "Fuck you."
That's my rating. Just to put it into context, like, that the movie annoyed me so much that I actually spent a half hour making that stupid thing. Getting.
I like when you do something out of anger. That's great.
But just so you know, I am deleting it. I've deleted it from here, so I will not play it again. But
all right. Well, you used it appropriately. It was warranted, and it drove home the point. So. Well played. Well done.
So I'm not angry. I'm glad that we did it. It made for a fun conversation, just kind of talking about like how weird it was. But yeah, man, like I really just I'm puzzled by how that movie could have been made and how anyone could have thought it would be anything other than a disaster. Though since you were saying that George was trying to get his name off of it, I guess he realized that it was bad.
Yeah, I think like if you dig in, there's probably some videos like the sordid tale of Howard the Duck and everything that it went through. But I think he was really trying to distance himself from that as much as possible. But they were clinging to that name because that was going to be that was going to help them out. And then the damage it did to I want to say, I don't know if the writer and the director were a couple. It's been a long time, but I know that they had. I don't know if their careers ever recovered after this. And oh yeah, and here's a note too, like coming off a divorce and the expensive construction of Skywalker Ranch, Lucas was counting on the film to be a financial hit. So maybe he was still involved, but its failure forced him to sell off assets, one of which was the graphics group of Lucasfilm, which later became Pixar.
Oops.
Oh, oopsie. Yeah. My
Thanks,
bad.
Howard.
Yeah, thanks, Howard.
So, anywho, I guess that'll wrap us up for the Rewind Club for the month of April, if that is indeed what this month is. I have no idea anymore. I no longer have a concept of space or time.
Yes, because of Howard.
No, actually, just because of like traveling last week and having a colonoscopy the week before, and it's been a wild month. It's been a wild month.
This movie was kind of like a colonoscopy if you think about it.
Yeah.
So on that note, What are we doing? We don't know what we're doing next time or when we're doing it next time.
Next episode should be probably a recap of ToyCon. We'll do another Do Something.
Oh,
the ZoloCon one that we did seemed to have gone over reasonably well.
We will do something.
Hopefully we can find a time to do it next week, but there is some scheduling stuff we need to sort out.
New logistics we need to settle into. Yeah.
We may have to do a later in the evening episode, I would think, if we're able to do one next week. But we're going to sort that out, and we will let everybody know on the Blue Skies and Instagrams and those sorts of things.
Stay tuned. Yes.
Stay tuned. But for now, I got to go cleanse.
Yes. All right. Enjoy. Thanks for indulging me on this one. I promise to do better next time.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have fun.
All right. See you guys.
Perfectly excellent.